lessons from the lesson. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I got another watch list for you, and we are entering a very, very big week. So I was going to break down the inflation and what we got with earnings. We really have to talk about this, and I got two things that you probably need to start doing right now, but over the weekend, we got a little bit of news, one out of China and one out of Europe, but this is the title here of the video. You gotta watch out for European stocks this week. There is gonna be a 10-day, they call it a maintenance period, for Nord Stream, and pretty much there's gonna be some level of gasoline not being distributed to Europe, and if that continues longer than those 10 days, we're gonna have a big problem on our hands. So, we got a lot to talk about. I got the breakdown for this week. Like we said, we're getting our inflation report with CPI. I got the estimates. We also have earnings. It's going to be starting, I think, Tuesday with Pepsi, and then by Friday, you're going to hear from all the banks, and then we have everything we were dealing with last week, the dollar, and all of that. So, we got a lot that we're going to cover. I got the keys. I got a bunch of different plays, again, from earnings all the way down here to the news and what we're dealing with, and then just everything else. So drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. I don't know why I'm doing that so fast, but youtube.com/the stock market. We're live Monday through Friday. Hopefully we see you there in the morning. But, oh yeah, don't let me forget, random account picker too. We need your help. It's back to $2,000 on this watch list. Post a random strike price, expiration date. Keep it below $100 tomorrow morning. We are going to pick one, and thank you for your service. But as far as the keys now, before we get into anything with Russia, that's going to be number 2. We'll talk about it, but right off the bat, you are getting your inflation report this week. That is the CPI. It's coming out on Wednesday, and here are your expectations, and this is what makes it interesting, because as of right now, and even from last week, this CPI is expected to come in around 8.8. So some of the high estimates are there at 8.9. Some other people are saying it might come in as 9, but I mean, what's the big deal about this? This is literally the highest inflation that we've gotten. So the good news and bad news is that, one, if it follows expectations, we're going to get the highest print of inflation that we've seen on headline ever. And if not, well, then chances are it could actually end up coming down. That's the thing I like about this being a high expectation, is simply maybe it comes in a little bit below expectations and then we get a positive response. I don't know. We're going to see. But all in all, if you don't remember, last week we had minutes, a bunch of data. Everybody is kind of looking for this CPI now to confirm everything. It gives us one more step, and then before you know it, it is the Fed afterwards. But just be on the lookout. Any headline response, again, if it comes in above or below estimates, that in and of itself has been enough to get a reaction. So keep all of that in mind. But that is going to be on Wednesday, and then on Tuesday, like we said, earnings is going to be kicking off. You have Tuesday with Pepsi. Wednesday is going to be Delta Airlines, Morgan Stanley, and JP Morgan on Thursday. Then Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and PNC on Friday. So pretty much going to be all bank stocks. And now this will be one of the opportunities. We're going to talk about it with a play. This is one of those things that I think you need to do right now. I'll just tell you right now, you need to start setting up for earnings plays. It's going to be interesting. Take a look at this SPY. We've kind of been coming off of these lows, and that right there, or at least a couple days ago, made it difficulty, because as we were coming down there, you had premiums that were high from the rally the day before, then gaining some on the way up. Kind of here at the middle, premiums might be good, but what I'm trying to tell you is after this week of earnings, people are going to react, but then the real reaction is going to come with the rest of them. What I'm trying to tell you is that, let's say the first 5 earnings are awful, pretty much the next 10 might actually be very good, and vice versa. So use this as an opportunity to start scaling in, because pretty much you could get a head start and kind of front run earnings, or if you make a play and it's wrong, you might be able to actually readjust when the rest of the earnings come out and then things end up good. So watch out for that. That is all this week. That is the main thing people are going to be looking for. And now let's get into some of the weekend news, and these are part of the keys here. China's slowdown and what happened in Europe. So we'll start with China. this one not as big. Remember, you've been getting a lot of back and forth. Even then, there is another headline about people talking over the weekend with us removing the tariff, so that could be positive. But on the negative side now, China has shut down Macau, the gambling center, and it's because of COVID. So we've been getting a lot of back and forth. Just see how that plays out. But that's one piece of news I'd be watching. And then, like we said there with the European gas news, this one is very, very big. And now this is the second thing you need to be doing right now. Watch those EWG plays, because unfortunately they expire here on Friday from the first one. Yeah, we caught the move down. The premiums didn't really hit, but now might actually be the time to average down. And what I'm going to say is get a real reassessment of all of your Europe plays, because today or whatever happens over the weekend, this is going to be a big deal, or whatever happens returning from the weekend. So like we said, the news is they are halting the Nord Stream, the original Nord Stream pipeline, for a couple of days of maintenance, but Russia and a lot of countries have talked about, well, this could kind of be them getting the oil cut off, and then if it doesn't return, we are going to have a real big problem, literally to the point where some people are saying that Germany right away, if the gas doesn't get turned on, there will have to be companies who need to get bailed out. So keep all of that in mind. But besides what we were anticipating with the inflation and then also with earnings, that China and European news, especially the European stuff, that's probably going to be some of the biggest news this week, especially with how we kind of saw Italian bonds and some of that stuff take over last week. So watch out for that. And then finally, just do not forget about the unrelenting dollar and everything we dealt with last week. Remember the bonds and how they were moving. The dollar didn't really come down after the first move. The market was able to bounce. Dollar didn't really play along. So just keep your eyes out for that. Don't forget some of the broader trend there, and just understand here now, like I said, showing you this daily SPY chart, the CPI is either going to take us to the next level and then earnings drive it home, or vice versa. If we are going to have anything, people freaking out and saying, no, too early to react. I mean, CPI would be the reaction, and if earnings aren't good, it's going to be a double whammy of bad. So we will see what happens, but that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I got a bunch of different plays. We're going to talk about ones that we're in. Remember, last week I made a lot of the bank earnings plays, and that's one that I really, really do like, but we do have a couple of things to look at besides that. So outside of the banking industry, the number one play I'm going to be looking at, Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Why? It's right around the corner. Again, Pepsi is on Tuesday, but then if you take a look at some of the value plays or these charts, they really do look like a good value chart. That's what I like about them. You can see here with Pepsi, it's kind of up towards the highs. Coca-Cola's kind of similar there too, but I like how they've held up. Again, they've had both good and bad earnings this last year. I think just the way they're holding is very good, so I like it. And the best part is we could watch Coca-Cola as a sympathy and let Pepsi do its thing with earnings, and then hopefully get some better premium. So Coca-Cola and Pepsi, that's the first one. Definitely be keeping your eye out for that one. Then number two now, Delta Airlines and Uber. Now this pair kind of seems a little bit weird, but obviously Delta on Wednesday, they're going to be having their earnings, and we'll see how travel is. And now Uber, they can be a sympathy considering they're related to travel and any sort of broader travel trend that emerges from earnings. I mean, do not underestimate Wall Street to apply it to everybody. So that's kind of the one things I'm looking for. But now too, over the weekend, there was news on Uber. It's called the Uber Files, and it's like a deep dive into, what they've done, bribing politicians and all of this stuff. So the company didn't really comment on it too much, but I think this one could be a good one. I just want to see how it plays out. And like we're saying, the beginning of travel earnings will be key. So if there's any other sympathies, Uber, even tying it to Airbnb, I would definitely keep my eyes out for that one. And then finally, number three, baby, UNG, baby. So we're in this play. We made this one free last week. I still like it, but like we've been saying, there's a lot of big gas news out of the European Union. You're getting the meeting there with the Saudis in the United States this week. So really what I'm saying is that any sort of energy name can move, but I think UNG will be a little bit more unique considering the spread between European natural gas and ours, and it's just been getting clapped over the last couple of weeks. So we'll see what happens with it, but again, you're going to hear a lot of stuff related to energy because of Europe this week, so I would make sure you have at least one energy play that you're watching. So there's that. As far as everything else, again, another energy play, still in those Conocos from last week. Those ended up going positive from the first day we got them, and then I have a play on Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. I did go for a JP Morgan on Friday. I grabbed two of the August 135s for 24 cents, a little further further out the money, so they were cheap, not too crazy. And again, the Morgan Stanleys, I'm holding those 87.5. So all of the bank plays are for August, but we'll see how it plays out. I may want to grab some more, but with everything we've been seeing here, I mean, rates keep going higher. People are expecting higher rates, but you'll notice even though people are worried about recession, the consumer hasn't been too bad. The jobs data has been good. And just remember, the last couple weeks, you were watching the banks react positive to that. And then another big thing with the banks is that you're going to watch those stress test results and any new changes. We're probably going to get some announcements here on their earnings. So if you couldn't tell, I like the bank stocks. I think they're going to be good. And then everything afterwards too. I didn't mention them up on here, but like I'm saying, we're going to talk about it this week. I am going to start trying to find some of the earnings plays for bigger tech and everything else. So hopefully we could get a good setup and even kind of have a get out of jail free card if things even move a lot leading into some of those companies. So pretty straightforward. We're going to see what happens. Everybody's locked and loaded for inflation. That's probably going to drive our next level with everything else. The earnings, a lot of people are anticipating them. And then just the macroeconomics. It's going to be a fun week. So I hope you're ready. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure Hydrate Healthy ready to go. Make sure post their watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember that who you are today, your future self is going to say something about you right now. It's all about the future self. Just don't forget about him. He exists in the future. Some of you, you're thanking who you are now because of the past. Oh. So let's go, Chad. Do it for your future self. Only a couple more quarters, then you could say you made it past one of the craziest years. So I hope you're locked and loaded, and I hope you got that rest. But Chad, drink that water. I came back, bro. I was sleeping for like 90, 70,000 hours, bro. So you better be as excited, because I came in here excited, baby. And it's game time, and I love you, Chad. And I can't wait to see you in the morning. So God bless Colt. God bless America. And God bless the Chad, baby. All right, I'll see you in the morning. Peace out. Good night. Bye. Bye. Good night. Goodbye. Goodbye. Okay.